Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, I'm going to bring you the Deanston 11-year-old from Signatory's Cask Strength Collection. This particular Deanston is matured in a first fill ex-sherry butt. Young whiskey, you can get away with that first fill sherry. This is cask number 900128, and this is bottle 467 of 647. 64.7% ABV. Again, a Deanston, aged 11 years. This is probably as good a time as any to say thank you to my good friend Keith from the Malted Man Cave. We got together over the weekend, knocked out a couple reviews that you guys saw. The Springbank 15, the comparison between the Macallan 18 and the Glendronach 18, which appreciate all of the love for that particular review. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'll definitely bring you more of the comparison reviews. Working on a comparison between a Balvenie 25-year-old single barrel and the Balvenie Ton 1509 Batch 4. I'm gonna try to get a few of their tasting notes down and compare those whiskeys for you. But today, we have this Deanston 64.7% ABV, the 2006 version of this 11-year-old. So again, this is another Signatory Cask Strength Collection bottle. So Signatory, I believe, does 3 different versions of their whiskeys. They do a high ABV, a cask strength version, and something more, I don't know what they call those other 2 versions, but something a little closer to a normal ABV, 43, 46%. This particular one being a first fill sherry cask, I'm hoping for a lot of those dessert flavors. Had this whiskey a couple times with Keith, gifted me the rest of the bottle. Haven't had a chance to revisit it, so I'm really gonna be shooting the hit in this particular video as far as what I smell and I taste. All right, let's get into it, guys. Deanston, another whiskey distillery that people are going crazy for. They do a lot of things well. This particular one is unchill filtered, uncolored, which I believe all the Deanstons are, but don't quote me on that. This one, a lot of dessert on the nose. Very good. I got honey and caramel right off the bat, with a nice light spice coming in. Citrus for sure. Orange. Maybe, oh, man, I don't know what it is today. Red berry again. Probably a raspberry. It's a little tartar. Think of a tart red berry, or maybe just a raspberry. Yeah, honey, raspberries, a little bit of spice, oranges. And just a little bit of milk chocolate. A little bit of milk chocolate covered orange with some spice on top, light cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and some Granny Smith apples. No, Golden Delicious apples, the green ones. Actually, Granny Smith is green too, but you know what I mean, the green apple. Well, hopefully you know what I mean. Whew, this is a really good nose, impressive. Yeah, raspberries, honey, caramel, spicy, nutmeg, apples, oranges, a little bit of cinnamon. Whew, cinnamon. It's my 3rd drink of the day. Should probably call it quits after this one. All right, first sip time. That's an interesting one on the palate. Wow, initially spicy, then those fruits, those orchard fruits, apples and oranges, and then like kind of a like a dusty clove. But that doesn't really make sense. But like a dusty, clovey, white cinnamon taste with a lot of spice. Like as soon as you swallow, man, the spice and the tingles really came up on the side hard. Now on the finish, a little bit of pepper. This is very similar to the majority of the Signatory Cask Strength versions that I have tried, or vintages that I have tried. They are really well done whiskeys. It evolves both on the nose and on the palate. But aside from that, it has a lot of flavors. I mean, we're talking fruits, spices. In this particular one, you also have the honey, you got a little bit of caramel. I wouldn't say anything as dark as a figure of date or even a raisin, but that nice apple, it's like spiced apple. Reminds me of Halloween almost in this particular one. Now here, or at least when I'm recording this, we're about to approach April, so I am well past any want for a fall dessert spice, pumpkin spice type of thing. Ready for some spring. But this takes me back to that time of year. It's Halloween, I'm handing out candy. Hopefully having this whiskey. Yeah, this whiskey. I was gonna say something like spicy apples or some type of baked good, but I get all that in here, plus this has alcohol in it, so I'll go with this. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try to bring you a Halloween version where I have this again in 2019. All right, so I did throw a little bit of water in it. This time just a little bit. And those fruity notes are definitely more forefront. I'm definitely getting a lot more of the raspberries and honey. Definitely the orange is still there and that nice milk chocolate. And again, at 64.7% ABV, extremely easy to take on the palate. Even if you're somebody who, doesn't generally do cask strength whiskeys, this one is a subtle mistress. A little surprised because of the first full sherry cask. I figured it would be a little stronger on some of the dark some of the dark fruit flavors. But it is really spicy. Maybe this was a French oak, or yeah, a French sherry oak cask. I want to see if it says anywhere. It does not, sadly enough, on the bottle. And forgive me, I didn't research it to the point where, I didn't research it at all. I always hate with a new whiskey to research it to see anything because I don't want to see anybody else's, notes as far as tastings or the smells, just because I want to tell you what I am getting on this particular whiskey. But it wouldn't shock me if this first fill sherry was a French oak cask, just because of how spicy it is. Very, very spicy. Yeah, raspberries, honey, and spice. Caramel and orange and milk chocolate. What a dazzling whiskey. It really is. I need to get more of these Signatories, especially the cask strength versions. I mean, these are some outstanding whiskeys. I really am getting more into the independent bottlings. I'm going to bring you guys a Port Charlotte 60% ABV from Dram Fool, and then I have a Glenlivet 25-year-old Give and Tell. What distillery was that from? I'm not sure. I'll bring it to you and we'll talk about it then. All right, but let me give you the last little sip, tell you what I think, and give you a score. So spicy. So spicy. Cinnamon, maybe a tad bit of red hots. I don't know why the cinnamon came up even more with the water, but it did. Cinnamon, red hots, apple, orange, and then a little bit of milk chocolate. And then a little bit of pepper. And that lovely red fruit, whatever it is. It's like a tart red fruit. I said raspberry a few times. I'm not sure. But it's a very tart red fruit. Maybe a tart apple with spice, I don't know. Both green and red apple, maybe. Another great one from Signatory. If you guys get your hands on this one, I would go for it. Again, this particular cask number from the Deanston 2006, 11-year-old is 900128. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. So if any of you guys have the exact same bottle as me, tell me what you guys think of it. I was impressed. I'm going to give it a score of 91 out of 100. It's cask strength whiskey. It's unchill filtered. It's natural color. It's delicious. It's spicy. It's dessert. It's little bit of pastry, a little bit of those baking spices that you get in the late fall. It's a nice one. 91 of 100, that's where I'm at. It's be a short one today, guys. I want to thank you for once again joining for another one of my whiskey reviews. Appreciate all of you guys, I really do. Like to hear your thoughts in the comments section, and until next time, happy drinking.